Welcome to Grover Load. I'm Anthony, and Intel is recommending with the ATX power supply for the 12 VHPWR connector, so the 12 volt power connector that NVIDIA was using for their 4000 series RTX cards. They recommend a slightly different design than the original design that was there. So this is actually kind of interesting. What this is, I saw this on video cards a few days ago when I was going through the news, and I wanted to bring this up because I did say I would not be surprised if the spec would be have a different recommendation, have some better guidance going forward of what the connector should be, a revision of this, and it looks like that's what they've done. So here on video cards that Intel is recommending, because Intel was a big part of this connector and of the whole ATX 3.0 power supply standard, and there was reports of the melting of it and damage to video cards, etc. And then everyone went through NVIDIA and said, hey, you're just not plugging it in right. And I did say, well, that could be part of the problem, right? Making sure there probably needs to be a little bit better feedback. And I would not be surprised if there is a revision to this. And so there is, where they are suggesting to use a four spring design instead of a three dimple design. And this was something that Igor Labs kind of alluded to as well. So this is from Intel. Crimp contacts inside the cable plug are recommended to use a four spring design instead of a three dimple design, as the figure shown below. So here's the spring design, and then here is the dimpled, no, this right here, the NTX is the spring design, and this Astron is the dimple design. And so instead of the three dimples design, which will increase the contact of area for electrical current flow inside the 12 VHWPR connector and reduce the temperature rise of each contact. So they might have some ways to be able to test this, Intel, and to be able to see that there was a rise in temperature between the two designs, which is a good thing that Intel's being able to go through. And here's the reference for that guide as well, that Intel had. So this is, recommendations that are coming out. I am not shocked at this. As a new connector, this is something Intel would have had to have gone through, right? Sometimes you don't, as much as you want to, especially with a physical connector like this, it's going to last generations, this ATX, you miss something, right? And as it gets used in the real world scenarios, you start to see there is a slight issue. And this is something that I expected Intel to revise and go through and, change something for, look at what was going wrong and make an assessment. Could this, people have not plugged it in right? Yeah, but where it looks like is that also there could have been another scenario, which I kind of thought that it was not just one thing causing this. This was a um, slightly, there was multiple angles to this problem. As much as people said there was only one way this to happen, right? Users weren't plugging it in all the way. Um, yeah, it's kind of, as some of my work I've done, right? Sometimes designs need to be revised and improved upon so that you get a better result. So I just want to bring this up because I thought this was kind of interesting here. Everyone thought that it was just a plugging in, and with that, um, guess what? Intel decided to still revise and do a recommendation on what to use for this connector, which kind of points to we're not going to put fault and try to accept blame for anything, but let's going forward that let's not use this design, let's use the other one. So kind of interesting. Now I will say this, a lot of the connectors that NVIDIA did ship were the four spring design and not the three dimple design, if I've read everything correctly. Earlier on it was a three dimple design, but later on it was the for spring design. So maybe that's why early on there was a little bit more about a melting issue, and later on it kind of faded away, right? Maybe NVIDIA did see some of this as well, and they had connectors to say we're going to use this design over this dimple design, the spring design over the dimple design. So with that, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any thoughts on this connector. How did you expect that Intel would come and revise this, or NVIDIA or somebody else like they've done here, or did you think that this is just gonna just go away and never be heard of again? Also, if you have any thoughts on videos you'd like to see or any in-depth content, feel free to drop those in the comments as well. I do appreciate it, and this is, YouTube and stuff, so make sure that you subscribe, hit the like button, and that little bell icon, whatever you do on YouTube or whatever, wherever you're watching this. I really do appreciate it. It does help out the channel, and until next time, I want to thank you all for watching, and God bless.